What was our plan? I wandered off for a couple of weeks. We must have been going to that, the cave up there, right? Let me just double check. Because sometimes, like, you know when you play a game more than once, you start thinking you're in a certain spot and you're not? Did you get... Oh, yeah, okay. So we're correct. To go into the thing for the Lindaka. Oh, man. I feel like the potion making is pretty rad, but, like, the success rate is such trash in the beginning. So, never mind that. Let's go to Linga. Hey, guy. Get out of my way, friend. Man, this game is so good. I wish they, like... Okay, so I have to get the remake for sure. But... like, I wish they could have just ported this and it would have been fine. In we go! Oh, we gotta get the wiggly plants. Listen to this music. This doesn't feel very much like a sanctuary. This must be the herb Bowman told us to find. Why? Because it's wiggling? So pick it up, friend. Lavender, that's not it. We've done it! Now we can finally meet Keith. I'm not so sure. I think I've seen it in the general stores in Arlia and Salva. Rena didn't even pop out to say that. Okay, that's fine, Rena. Rain on my parade. This is the wrong weed for the job, apparently. Of course it's in the back, right? Let us kill carrots. Energy, marrow. I mean, I could switch to Priestess because I think she's the bomb. And I feel like she's about as decent as Ashton, but like... Ashton's fine. This is the only problem with, and this isn't the only game that has this, where you can really swap out and customize your crew, is like... you invest heavily into one and you gotta switch them out to keep it even, and that, like, and it really only matters if it's tied to some sort of crafting, right? Which this is. Why is that box open? We didn't come in here, did we? Dane, did you wander in here alone? I sure didn't. I haven't touched this.
The enemy.
The enemy. I'm excited about the remake, but like, I looked at it a little bit. Is it really? It's not. It's just this. It's sort of like when they do with the Final Fantasies, right? Where they'll take the old 2D Final Fantasies and they'll redo it with the 3D. And like, I don't care. Dane, you're one of those people that gets mad though when a remake really strays from the original. I know. So what I'm really saying is you just can't make me happy about this. You know, what I really just want is give me my old game on my current platform. That's all I really want. That's where PC Master Race is in fact better, because they get all the ports and it doesn't really matter to them, right? Tried to do PC gaming with my friend the other day, and we figured it out. But it was a whole lot, because she's like a Steam champion, right? And she's like, oh, what about this game and this game? And I'm like, it doesn't have controller support. She's like, well, like, what is your problem? Just use a mouse and a board. And I'm like, I don't have a mouse, honey. I have a touchpad. This is not happening. I like a brick that I turn on, that so long as its wires are connected to my TV, we're good to go. Like, the fight I should be having is with my television and trying to get it on the right channel. Not the brick. So, but whatever, we figured it out. But she had all these games she picked out, and I'm like, oh, I hate this. I hate this. Not because the game wasn't interesting, but I was like, I can't put a controller in this. Ah! And it was just annoying. And you know when, like, Steam screws up on you, and you're like, ah! Like, if you're a Steam person, you don't care. The same way that, like, I imagine PC people, when they come over to consoles, and they're like, what the hell is this? Like, the console does something wonky, they're just like, what? What? That's how I feel about the PC when I go to use my Steam account. But we did find a game, man, and I'm kind of addicted. Only when I play with a friend, though, because, like, I think it's trash when you play alone. It's such a chick game. Plate Up. We're these little, like, chefs, and we gotta serve in our restaurant, and I don't know why that's so fun, but it is. Yeah. See, that's what PC is good for, is, like, little wonky games. I like my console. I would play that game on console for sure.
I have no choice.
Come on. I don't have the... Do I have the ability to turn off fights? Because that was sort of working in the Final Fantasy VII playthrough, where we could use the port enhance... Yeah, do that! Do that! Just put my old games on the new platform, but add little enhancements like super speed, invincibility, and F off, I don't want to fight right now. Like, that's smart. I like that a lot. That was sort of working, because we're trying to get through story sections of 7, and it's like, oh, enough. Like, we've all seen it. It's fine. Let's move on. But I'm playing the actual disc. Oh, wait, that didn't line up quite the way I thought. I thought maybe we came from down here, but I guess not. Now, this is not going to be it, but, you know, who am I to pass up free weed? It doesn't appear that I can connect to the north path anyway.
Looks like I must fight.
I must fight! Right now, it's the May 2-4 in Canada. I don't know if y'all have that in wherever the heck you are. You know, like, there's not that many people that come and watch this, but I can look at the analytics and I'm like, Saudi Arabia? Can you even listen to women do anything there? Dane, that's ignorant! Probably! But I'm not willing to correct that. That's fine with me, by the way. But, oh, no. How do I get up onto the... I'm not so sure, blah blah blah. Okay, can I cut down here? If you hear my cat screaming, she's fine. Nona, you know, every time you start screaming, I have to tell the fine people who come and listen that you're fine and I'm not abusing you. Which I think is why she does it. It's like she knows that I have an alternate reason for talking, and she's like, ah! You know, like kids that, you know, you ever see this in the stores where some kid with it's usually their mom, right? Sometimes it's the dad, and you just know that it's like a single dad or a single mom, right? Or at least that's your prejudice. That's Dane's prejudice. And the kid is just like, ah! And they're trying to make, like, they're trying to embarrass their parents. Like, no, my mom won't buy me a toy. My dad, you know, like, and do you ever see that? I see that. And it amazes me because kids are supposed to be, like, plugged into their phones, right? And yet they're like, Dad, I don't want this toy. Man, I remember toys. Remember that's when what we had to play with? There was no, well, I mean, we've had video games since... How long we had video games? Like, reasonable to find them in the home. Like, what, late 70s, early 80s? I could be super wrong about that. And so we didn't have the phones or anything. So what were kids doing? Nobody wanted to read. Even when I was a little Dane-alina, people were like, I'm not gonna sit around and read. That's stupid. I'm gonna go out and play guns, which Dane-alina also likes doing. But, do you ever go to play guns with your friends, and because you're out in the woods, or you're out in, like, for us it was we'd hang around if you ever go to Brampton, Ontario, there's tons and tons of infrastructure for storm drains. I think I've mentioned this before because of my obsession with storm drains. And, you could just, because there's all these green belts running through it, and you can just kick your kids out. They'll find their way out of their section of the burbs or whatever, and eventually you'll end up in these green strips with walkways, and they're all running along the creeks and the various runoffs and stuff. So we would go down there to play guns or whatever. Now keep in mind, you know, the mothers of Ontario were just like, I don't want no plastic guns, blah, blah, blah. But we would, it didn't matter. You know, you use your fingers or whatever. You throw rocks at each other. I remember some of my younger friends, we always liked to pretend that we were the Amazon women because we had seen, do you remember that show, the legendary Journeys of Hercules with Kevin Sorbo? Do you remember those? We had seen that, and there was that one when they first started the show, and what they did was, instead of having just flat-out episodes, they had these, like, made-for-TV movies that they did it with before they got into an actual, like, syndicated kind of television station, sort of. Sitcom is not the right word, but you know what I mean, right? Like, this is season 1, and it has this many episodes that are 43 minutes long. So one of them was, like, Hercules and the Amazon women. And these were these badass chicks. Xena's in there, but she has blonde hair. Highly recommend. She does it with Zeus. And they're all like, you know, like before Xena did that, you know. And they're all kick-ass. So we would pretend that we were the Amazon women. And we would just, like, every time we saw people, like, walking their dog or whatever, we'd be talking about how we could ambush them. And we were gonna, and especially if it was just a lone man. Like, beware. Women are hunting you. At least when we're small. And we were just like, we'll get him and we'll take him back to the village and we'll put him in that cage and then I don't know what our plan was going to be. We just knew that we were supposed to get rid of men or be like, oh, they found us, you know, like, and that was, I can't believe I'm admitting, who cares, whatever. We had fun. But did you ever go out to, you know, play Amazon women if you're a chick? I don't know. Or if you're a boy, I imagine you go out and you play Army or you play Cowboys and Indians, right? You do something like that. And you just, like, effed off, where you were just like, alright, my friends are kind of, like, in that direction. I'm on, like, Team B, or whatever you called it. and you know, you got your little shooty tooty, but you're a nerd, like, so you've also got a book you want to read and you just want to be left alone, so you just F off into the woods and you're just like, yeah, I'll be the sniper or whatever, or I'll be the lookout or the guard or you know, the recon or whatever, you know, you might not know the names for it yet, but you're like that, and you just find a spot where you should be watching for the enemy, you should be doing your job, and you're just like, oh, it's hard to read this Sailor Moon comic, or whatever. Oh man, I might have done that to my friends quite a few times. Or I would get distracted by the stuff that was in the creek. Like, I think I've talked about this before, where the stretch of greenbelt that was behind my house, because I lived on a house that backed out onto one of them, and I would go down there, like with my dad and stuff, and I would rescue snails. That means every single snail I rescued died because I put them in these like big yogurt containers and I'd make them little habitats, but I thought they were so cute. But when I go out into the brush with my girlfriends, I would eventually get, like, I got shot a few times. I had a spear thrown at me, a stick thrown at me, like all sorts of things, because I would get distracted by the junk in the water. I'd be like, yo! Like, the creeks were never very deep, right? They only became a problem when they got stupid rains. But, like, there was always just so much living in there, and it had a certain, like, had a stank to it, which was, you didn't, like, slow-moving, shallow water. And I don't know, I would get distracted. So I was never a very good Lady Amazon soldier woman, because I would get distracted by either something I brought with me for the explicit purpose of getting distracted, or because there was some cool friggin' fish floating around, and I was like, floating around would mean it's dead, Dane. Swimming around, I was like, what is that? Why does it like it? Just like, do kids even, so today, like, trying to get kids to go outside and play, I imagine is complicated. I was talking a little bit with one of my friends, who I grew up with, who has definitely thrown things at me because she caught me effing off during games. And, you know, her kids are out there, and she's like, they don't leave the house. I'm not really sure what to do. And I'm like, I don't have anything for you. This is what I'm looking for. Like, I don't have kids. You're supposed to know the answers, man. And she's just like, oh, you know, I try to kick them out, but, you know, eventually they're just like, what if we get lost? We need our phone. And I got thinking about that, and I was like, we would just knock on a neighbor's house and be like, yo, can I use your phone to call my mom and dad? Or whatever. Or we'd just be like, F that. Like, we'll get home eventually. Our parents are probably at work. You know, like, it didn't matter. But if it's hard to get kids to go out in a group, like, that's one thing. But how many people still... Do you ever see kids alone outside anymore? Like, I live in the boondocks now, and occasionally I'll go into town or whatever, and I do see kids wandering around, like, when they've got the bucket and the golf club and they're going to kill gophers. Like, that's... Okay. I'm from the burbs. That's weird to me, but, you know, knock yourself out. But, like, I remember going outside just by myself, and I'd be out there for hours. And I was just, I don't know, you just, like, had a story in your head, and, you know, whatever. You'd go to the clubhouse, which was always just garbage. We had a clubhouse, essentially that's what it was. Okay, so we had a Wiccan face, because of course we did, we're female. And we were just like, oh my gosh, we need to build the circle. You know, like, if you have at all ever flirted with that crap, you know what I'm talking about. Just watch The Craft. That's all you need to know, because we thought that was the best movie of all time, and we all wanted to be Nancy. So anyway, we had The Circle, which was out by the train tracks, because of course. And so we would, you know, we would do these little, like, sticks and things, and we would read our witchcraft books that, like, I don't even know where the hell we got that stuff. Like, how did we have any of that? Amazon wasn't a thing. I don't even know where they came. Oh, you could buy them at Indigo. Also known as Chapters, which I think you still can. Last time I was in there, I was like, this is all witchcraft. You really went for it. It used to just be one shelf kind of in the back. And so if you could get your parents to buy that crap, or like somebody stole something from a library. We used to steal from the libraries all the time. All the time. I don't know if kids even know that that's a thing. Well, why would they? They just steal a PDF. But anyway, our circle was great. We had a log there. We had like a little fire pit. We sucked at starting fires, but eventually we just started stealing our parents' lighters. It was, well, they stole their parents' lighters. Neither of my parents smoked, so I was on my own. I did steal matches once, and they scared the crap out of me, but I learned how to use matches out there trying to start the fire. And we had it. It was pretty good for a couple of years, and then at one point we were sort of. I think it was when we were transitioning into high school. We went out there and we found all this gay porn, like man on man. And I remember this one picture was so confusing because my friend looked at it and she's like, "Oh my gosh, it's boys! They're 2 boys, 3 boys, what the heck?" And she just puts this picture in front of me. Oh, we got it! As Dane's about to talk about this thing that ruined her life. And it's a picture of a man, you know, down there. We've done it! Now we've finally beat Keith! And he's got a ring of car keys hanging off it. And we were just like, do they like that? We were so confused. We had so many conversations about the gay porn up there. But the thing that matters is that means some freak was going up into this girl's witch's circle to jerk it. We should have run. We never found who'd left it there. But it wasn't the only time we found gay porn up there. So somebody else, that was somebody else's clubhouse. That's communism. We were communally sharing our place. But my one friend had a great comeback to this, is she was like, well, we did try to summon a demon, right? So we summoned like the trashy gay demon from the gas station. Who, yeah. Anyway. Perhaps. I'm sure I've never seen it before, but maybe Bowman will know. We can find out if we show it to him. Let's go back and see. So I think the rest of this cave is just more weeds. Like, can I even get in there? No, I probably come around from the other side. I'm not sure they're necessarily worth going in to get. But, let's see. We're getting, I think, to the point where it's going to start being like the end of this part. No, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Because I've said it before, we end up leaving this planet. But we still have to go and do this whole shebang in the mountain where we will see Opera, I think, but she won't hang with us because we have Ashton. It's an either-or situation. Do you think that if Yuffie and Vincent were an either-or situation, that people would go mostly Yuffie? If only because you run into her first?
Oh, it's just them.
Beware.
I mean, I would have been Ashton, not Ashton. They're similar, aren't they? Like emo dudes that are like, eh, with the black hair and the robe. I think I would have been Team Vincent. But then I wouldn't have gotten to do the cool Wu-Tai thing. I don't know. Thankfully they don't make us make decisions in Final Fantasy VII. Not really. Let's get out of here. Oh, I must be able to thread in there somehow. I don't think there's any actual, like, treasure.
Oh, it's just them.
This is just an excuse to have us level up a smidge. Something! Come on, Celine. I maintain Celine is a bomb and cannon, but the only problem being that because she's a cannon, she runs out of the moops real quick. Suck on that, werewolf man.
Are you okay?
I'm okay, that's correct.